prophecy of the black horse is found in Revelation 6:5-6, which states, "And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, 'Come and see.' And I looked and saw a black horse, and he who sat on it holding a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, 'A quart of wheat for a day's wage, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wage, and do not harm the oil and the wine.'" The rider on the black horse in Revelation 6:5 had a pair of scales in his hand. Scales are a symbol of trade and commerce. What international spirit in the world embodies the message of commerce? Capitalism. The world's capitalist nations enjoy higher standards of living than the other nations of the world. This is reinforced in the next portion of this prophecy. "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, 'A quart of wheat for a day's wage, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wage, and do not harm the oil and the wine.'" One of the things heard daily in the news of capitalist countries is Dow Jones Industrials up 3 cents, AT&T down a penny, Xerox is steady. This passage is a prophetic stock market report. Obviously, the stock markets are at the center of capitalist economies. Finally, in the same passage, the Bible says, "And do not harm the oil and the wine." One of the quickest ways for a man to lose office in the political world of capitalism is for the economy of that nation to suffer under his administration. It is quite apparent that the spirit of the black horse is capitalism. The prophecy of the fourth and final horse comes to us from Revelation 6:8, which states, "And I looked and saw a pale horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and the grave followed with him. And authority was given to them over 1/4 of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and by the beasts of the earth." The Greek word that was translated pale is chloros. Strong's Exhaustive Concordance gives the definition of chloros as green or pale. The word chloros is a root word for chlorophyll, the pigment in plants that makes them green. So in all actuality, the passage should read, "Behold a green horse," which in fact it does in the New Living Translation. What relevance does this have to the prophecy? Well, the official color of Islam is green, as evident in the choice of color of many of the flags of Islamic nations and organizations. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Libya, Comoros, Mauritania, the flag of the League of Arab States, the Organization of Islamic Conference. The prophecy states that death and the grave followed with him. Islam teaches their suicide bombers that paradise follows their act of martyrdom. And guess what color heaven is in Islam? The spirit of the green horse is described as having power over 1/4 of the earth. Estimates of followers of Islam by country, based on U.S. State Department figures, yield a total of 1.48 billion. This is almost exactly 1/4 of the world's population. It seems evident that the green spirit is Islam.